Okay, we're live.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. But before we get into it, the chat, please advise us, yeah? Because Sahil is kind of using a new setting for his audio. Like, just tell us if you can hear us well enough, like, especially Sahil.
Guys, let me know because last time there was issues and we've sort of fixed them and we've tested them out, but we don't know if they're, you know, reflecting on the other end. So yeah, please let us know in the chat. Ashik, if you're there.
But yeah, let me do some of the housekeeping. Big up people in the chat, big up people who are going to be tuning in later on as well. Also, big up our sponsors, LBI20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Also, big up Fanatics. Go check them out. The link is in the description below. Also, go check out Talksport Fan Network. They are a brilliant movement, especially to support, fan football movements like us. Not just football, I believe, but yeah, they have been doing this for the past 2 years or so. It is it is an absolute pleasure to be actually part of the Talksport Fan Network, and since Talksport has been the biggest sports broadcasting radio station in the world for quite some time, and they have really been super supportive and super encouraging of all up and coming football content creators and whatnot. We don't really necessarily call us as content creators. We're just fans talking about the team we love. But you have to go show some show some love to Talksport. They absolutely deserve it. But yeah, on to more pressing things, Sahil. People say over here your audio seems to be fine.
All right, that's good.
Osasuna away, Sahil. Where do we begin? Where do we start? The title of the post match is "Bin the League." Do you agree to that statement?
No. Look, the moment we get one thing right, we mess up another. We were doing well in the league, and then we sort of found some momentum. Like earlier in the season when we played Barca and before the Classic and everything.
Yeah.
Barca seemed to be running away with it, and we thought we had no chance. But suddenly we found ourselves with a considerable lead, which again we didn't know that it was job done and set. But we knew it was enough to keep us going. But last 3 games we've only gotten 2 points. Espanyol, Atleti, and today. So that's pretty much given it away now. It's all open again.
But my question was, do you agree with the title, "Bin the League"? That is basically
it's back to square one. It's back to where we started.
No, it's Sahil, you completely misread the title.
Okay.
It's not us abandoning the league.
Okay.
It's basically a petition for La Liga to bin the league.
That. Okay, I didn't expect you to get into the refereeing, things. Right.
I mean,
in a game like this,
like usually, Sahil, you have to give me some credit, right? Usually, I don't go there.
Exactly.
Right. But tonight, how can you really? I mean, today, how can you really not touch upon that? Because it had a decisive say in which way the match went, Sahil. I mean, can you look past that?
No, you can't. Absolutely. And this was, again, one of those games where the refereeing controversy was right at the center of things. And maybe it's not right to play victim all the time. Maybe it's not right to go on social media whining about the situation. But it does add up game after game when things go against our team, one particular team, one particular set of players. And it's almost as if we have a right to feel like we're being targeted in this league, but also the other 19 teams are going to have something to say about that. Obviously, they're not going to agree about it. They're always going to be on the side of, what happened against Atleti was a clear pen. What happened tonight was a clear pen. Espanyol, that I think most people will agree on. But I don't know, man. It's these refereeing inconsistencies. Like if you give it one place, you have to give it another. And I think again we'll get into the the specifics of these decisions later on. But yeah, it's an absolute disgrace sometimes to watch how referees week in week out go against Real Madrid. You know,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
when Real Madrid are fighting for the league and most desperate for points, things like this happen, and then we're talking more about referees, after the match than
Mm.
about our own players or opposition players.
Usually, Sahil, like when days like these happen, people just sometimes completely hate the fact that I rarely give the referee, much spotlight. I
Mm.
much rather focus on what we got wrong, where we could have done better. But tonight, like the Jude Bellingham red card, like I was very adamant in the group that it's on Jude. And like many people can be of the opinion that you can say fuck off or fuck you, or I don't know, you can go cuss at the ref like it could have been probably 10-15 years ago.
Right.
It's absolutely not the case. People have to really wake up to the time we live in, wake up to the kind of refereeing that is existent in the top flight leagues all across Europe. I'm not sure any referee would be okay with someone fussing at them, but some referees, I must say, who would kind of understand. Okay, that is probably because they are just that determined to win, just that driven to actually nick the game.
True.
They would be empathetic, but that can't be the case for almost every single one of them. Like some people could have been, yeah, felt antagonized.
Yeah.
Some people would actually look towards the whole the circus in the media surrounding us, and how we have been basically the people who have been the most vocal against what has been the refereeing standards in La Liga, and think, yeah, like these guys, they just basically blow something small out of proportion. Jude Bellingham's red card, like what, as far as Carlos, post match, what he was mentioning is the fact that Jude Bellingham probably said off instead of what the ref thought was you, and it has a completely different meaning,
Okay.
100%. But you're just giving someone ammo to do, something wrong against you in a match that had absolutely no room for error. Like the moment we dropped points, it was pretty evident. Athletic is going to play. Is going to play Celta Vigo at home now, and they're absolutely certain to go ahead at this point. Why do we give someone else control over our destiny? It's frustrating to watch. All these, like, before we get into the pen that cost us the game. This is something that we should address. Like people on social media, like especially when Madrid Extra tweeted out the Fran push. Like I don't know if you remember, Fran was pushed
To the
over the
sidelines.
sideboards. Yeah, and he actually fell over. Fair enough, right? We have seen that on I don't know 200, 2,000, 3,000 occasions across any any league, any tournament, World Cups, Euros, you name it. AFCON, Copa America. It happens all the time.
Right.
So my question is, right, like if we start handing out red cards, yellow cards for that, I mean, the game is going to be a non-stop assortment of stoppages. Like it's basically one stoppage after another, basically, not letting the game play out. That's what I think, the modern generation wants. I'm fairly against it, and people, I think, also seem to forget that when we play away against minnows, against team that are probably a quarter, 1/10 of our budget, what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to beat us with flair, beat us with, their brilliance on the ball and whatnot? I don't understand. All throughout modern football history, all throughout the time I was watching the game, when you travel away to an Osasuna, to an Alaves, to an Espanyol, you're going to face defenders, you're going to face teams that are determined to spoil the party, who are determined to basically, make you, contest for every 50-50, barge into you, basically, slow you down. That's what they have to do in order to win the game. They can't beat you 1v1. And I mean, there are guys like Zaragoza, Brian Zaragoza on their side who can do that. But they can't really go toe to toe with us and win. So this is part of the gamesmanship that football as a sport has always been super keen to embrace. We have applauded our own kind, the Ramoses, the Pepes, Xabi Alonso, how nasty he was on the ball. I mean, people tend to forget that this guy, he had a smile on his face, but he used to go in killing people. I mean, that is part of the game, and you have to accept that. Like, I don't understand why people moan about it. I don't know what you think about that side of, the fan base who thinks that, every half decision should be favored for us.
No, I'm absolutely with you, Suned, here, because we of all teams should not be talking about how other teams are going to find a way to dismantle our game plan. Because we are the living example of a team that changes and, is versatile in terms of its approach. When we go away in the Champions League to a Liverpool, to a Man City, our game plan completely changes. Our defense is locked into formation, right? 75 minutes of the game we are defending. Sometimes, not every time, but yeah. So we of all teams, we of all fan bases cannot, after being so proud of, having pulled off certain victories at certain stadiums against certain teams, we cannot moan about a team doing that to us. Maybe a stylistically influenced club like Barca, because they're so used to, coming up against opposition that will do that to them. And they don't do that anywhere because it doesn't sound hypocritical coming from them to whine about a club that's just stolen off a victory or a point. But for us, it absolutely does not sit right with me. And also going to your point about Jude Bellingham's dissent, we still don't know what he said to the referee exactly. You say it's something within the lines of
the thing you share in the group chat, what does it say? It basically says that he didn't even cuss at him.
Cardenas, if he didn't cuss at him, then there's absolutely no reason for him to be sent off there. And I think it's just a case of, I'm sure he was speaking in English a lot of last season when he was even cursing at the referees or having a go at them. And that was at a point where they didn't really mind, or some of them maybe didn't even understand. But now that Jude Bellingham has grown into life in Spain, I think he's speaking more of Spanish on the pitch. I was assuming, it might have been something in Spanish, and that gave him strong reason to be sent off. But if it was indeed in English, and if it was indeed, misinterpreted on this side of the referee, as though being something that came off as a curse, then that's absolutely not right. If he has cursed him, then well and good. Go ahead, send him off, because I've seen multiple referees. Modern day referees will send people off. I think there was a time, like you mentioned, where that's being tolerated. Referees in the past, even Martinez, so many referees in La Liga will have tolerated that last season. But I think there are certain aspects of refereeing that have changed. RFEF have advised referees to act and behave a certain way. So then the question arises, do you remove the personality out of refereeing, or do you expect every referee to behave the same way? Do they become robots? Because we're not expecting the same standards out of footballers. When that happens to footballers, stylistically we whine about that. Or football has become repetitive. Every football is the same. So I'm not saying, I'm not yet completely on either side of the argument, because I'm still formulating thoughts about it. But
you have a very valid point. Personality. Referees absolutely should have personality.
Iconic referees like Colina, you didn't encourage that side of the game, to grow personality within referees. And also, there's the other argument, obviously, is that you need consistency. Do you need consistency within the 90 minutes, or do you want consistency throughout the whole of the season? Or do you want consistency throughout the existence of football? Because then I can argue, this was not given a pen today. 40 years ago, it was given a pen. 40 years ago, it was not given a pen. Today, it's being given a pen. How is that consistent? So then, what is the time frame within which you expect consistency from refereeing? So you have to be on one side of the argument. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I mean, fans, all of us, we get carried away with emotion. But I've always been of the opinion that referees, like you said, should be let to ref the game. Like if every referee is basically robotic, as per what you said, like it's gonna be for a dry viewing. Like we don't want referees to follow the rule book to the T. Like it's you have to have some intangible. You have to have some, something that you can't really base it in a within the four walls of officiating for the game to have some essence. Like VAR has basically taken out a huge chunk of that, right? But my question is, La Liga exists. Premier League also has so many refereeing incidents. Has had so many incidents over the past 3-4 years that has had major consequences on where the title has ended up, right? But yet they don't really look at the Champions League and how cutthroat, how efficient, effective, timely, and also they don't really take away personalities of the referees as well. Like it's so how do you put it? It's
found that sweet spot, no, Sunil?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's about the sweet spot and also about like making it look like the referee has. When I go into a Champions League game, I know a referee, no matter who that is, he wouldn't take any shit. Like he'll be so authoritative, he'll be so assertive about how he refs the game that I don't really need to be worried. Yeah, there'll be certain exceptions, like the referee we had away against City at the Etihad. He wasn't really on it, but that is a bad game, like in the standards of the officiating in the Champions League. But when bad comes to our league in Spain, it's just rock bottom. It's almost like they have a narcissistic complex whereby they want to be the guy who is deciding the outcome of the game. I don't like it. Like when La Liga referees, Ashik was mentioning in the watch along, when La Liga referees go ref in the Champions League or in European competitions, they have to really hone in those bad practices that they have back at home. They just have to really be a little more decent, I believe. Like the Lahoses, who used to basically go into top tier tournaments and go deep into them and ref crucial knockout matches. They used to always look different compared to how they looked in the league. It's baffling, man. See, RMTV is mourning here. They were mentioning about Juan Cruz. I don't know if you remember, like when he basically burst into Mbappe's chest. He should have been sent off. Man, that is part of the game. I get it. That's why football is a very subjective sport in the way every game is basically defined. Yeah. When someone is basically elbowed, normally you would think, that's a straight red. VR is going to absolutely take a look at it. But on so many occasions, we don't really see that consistently enough. It's a coin toss. As simple as that. It's almost always a coin toss to decide what happens in a particular game, decision-wise. Let me get into a few other comments before we delve in further. Ashik, big up Ashik, he was mentioning, after the stellar performance by the referee, if anyone thinks that the refs, La Liga, and all the ungrateful clubs haven't ganged up on us, then you're on something. I'd like to know what got you high. I mean, let's talk about it. Like the pen. Kamavinga, right, steps on Budimir's foot after the action has been finished, right? All throughout the time I've been watching the game, follow through, yes, it gets carded sometimes. I'll be very honest. If the foot is high enough and if it's rash enough, especially in the outfield, I've seen so many players, you name it, Casemiro's, Khedira's, Xabi Alonso's, Modric's, they follow through. They will leave something on you and you get booked. It's quite the norm, right? But inside the box, it has been super evident, super clear, super concise that when the action has been finished and you leave something on him, it's never a pen. It's because you have absolutely no implication on that action. You're basically doing nothing to the player who just shot the ball wide off the mark. It's not on Kamavinga that both were missed. I don't understand this, Sahil. Like, how can you look at that and say, oh, yeah, that was a refereeing mistake if the VAR calls the on-field referee onto the screen? How is it a mistake? It's a deliberate decision. Oh, yeah, come to the monitor, take a look. I'm going to give you 3 specific angles that's going to basically decide the decision that you think you're deciding, but it's essentially decided by us.
This is one of those things where if you go by the letter of law, you go by every word that's written in the book.
Yeah.
Use a pen. But earlier even earlier in this season, I think I've seen a few instances where referees were sensible enough to know that is not a pen. That's not enough to give you a pen, like a follow through. The ball is already passed, right? So that play is considered to be out. But there was this incident in an earlier game, Atleti Girona, I believe.
Yeah.
Where I think it was not given, and then there was outrage because by the letter of the book, by the law, they have to give a pen for it. So I think that was the turning point where RFEF instructed referees to on this particular piece of play, every time it does happen, to give the pen, follow the the rule book, as we say.
But that's so harsh. That
and then it happened.
That just means
Atleti.
It's Germany.
We were not expecting it because earlier in the season or even in past seasons, it was never given a follow through, and then it was given. And then when it happened tonight, we pretty much knew it was going to be given because it was the same thing that happened with Germany against Atleti.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
So you think there has been a clear instruction to basically give those kind of actions, but I'll be very honest, right? Okay, the rule book might say one thing, but bro, how many times have we seen foul throws being punished? Never. At least in Spain, never ever. It's mental. And I'll also say something, right? Like, you have made it clear that, it is something that they have kind of initiated. But I would also argue against the fact that if that is the kind of decisions that we are going to be seeing throughout La Liga, it's gonna end up in some major uproar, not just from the big sides, but the smaller sides. They're gonna be getting pens awarded against them by the minute, by the second. It's basically, I'm telling you, it's basically discouraging contact. It's basically telling defenders, oh yeah, like if you believe that you can't really put someone off their stride when they're taking a crucial shot in a game, where has the game gone to, man? Like I really don't see the future being bright in terms of how the game is going to be played, because every defender now is going to basically be like, oh yeah, like I can't really dive in. I can't really dive in spite of the fact that, oh yeah, like I don't really have much belief that I can win the ball. Maybe I can get a block in. Even that is going to be discouraged. So what guys like
on your keeper,
then it's basically a pen. I mean, it's basically a penalty in the box if you can't touch the guy. You might as well give it a pen. Once the guy crosses the D, you can just stop the play and give the guy a pen, because nobody can dive in, nobody can really go for a 50-50. It's absolutely mental. I don't understand this. I don't understand the sport. I don't see it being given in the Premier League. I just don't. I don't see it being given in Serie A, like, provided, I don't watch 99% of their games. I watch some of the bigger games, but they don't absolutely get given. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm tired, bro. I've been super critical of the people who claim, La Liga is against us. They have a conspiracy and whatnot. And they have given me enough proof to believe that, there might be a case. But looking at stuff like this, I mean, you made a point. They made this decision after the Atleti Girona game, but come on, man, like where do you draw the line,
right,
and prevent the people who basically sit on their desk chairs from being invasive to the game we love, the game we want to see, not just us but our kids watching. It's crazy. I have no words left, man. Honestly, I'm telling you, Sahil, this won't be given as a pen in the Champions League. It's not going to be, because if that's going to be the case, then I'm telling you, the the blowback of such a decision in the Champions League is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's absolutely going to be massive. If you remember the Benzema pen that he won against Ruben Diaz, that is a 50-50. Remember the Benzema pen that he won? In the second leg. Yeah.
In extra time.
In extra time.
Yep.
That is the sort of challenges Champions League will award as a pen. But this, man, no words.
Yeah, it's hard to feel the other way when things like this happen. You want to not feel like a victim, but you always end up feeling like the victim. And I'm pretty sure other teams in La Liga do. I'm not saying it's some sort of conspiracy that Barca or Atleti have against it. It's the league.
But Jose Manuel Montero, that guy, for what he did against Jude Bellingham, if, apparently the video is out and Jude didn't really cuss at him. When he's walking away, he's saying, fuck off. That is usually the case with Jude. I'm not gonna say if it's right or wrong. I would probably say more if I was in his position, because the game being reffed the way it is, I'll definitely have far less patience than Mr. Jude Bellingham here. But you can't be doing that. I mean, you already have a rep. Vinicius, Jude Bellingham, all these guys, they have a rep that they are gonna really say some nasty things to the referee. It has to stop. It's gonna keep costing us games. Like this guy, he didn't understand English. He just got a straight red card. I mean, Sahil, in what timeline does it actually happen if Jude Bellingham just, calms himself a bit down? I know it's not easy, but you have to take the bigger picture into account. I've really ran out of patience with this. I'll be very honest.
See, the other side of this is, are you really going to stop players from showing passion? Like, again, even in that, where do you draw the line? And do you stop the players from expressing themselves on the pitch? Because in a desperate situation like this, where we really want to get the points to secure our position in the league, even the best, even the most calm-headed of people can give way to their emotions. We saw Ancelotti. He never erupts in anger. We saw Ancelotti lash out at the assistant. Right? And Bellingham himself was never known for things like this before he came to Madrid. Even when he plays for England, you don't see him cuss at the referee. He focuses on his game. I think there's a bit of influence when it comes to that. There's a bit of wanting to be at the top. Again, the feeling of desperation that I mentioned, right? The levels are a lot higher. So it's natural. You'll see the same from Mbappe. Even he himself was mostly about enjoying his game before. Now he's more, focused and committed in every challenge, every little piece of play, and he's contesting with the referee for every argument. But I think to a certain extent you can let it go, but also because of La Liga's guidelines, which are pretty clear at the moment, that only the referee or only the captain can go speak to the referee. So we saw multiple cases in today's game because the referee today was very clear about it. Only Modric can come speak to me. And Modric was pretty calm about it. But clearly Jude and even Vinny, in a couple of instances, Vinny was lucky not to be booked. So I think it's a violation of that more than if he didn't cuss at the referee, then it's clearly a violation of the law that I just mentioned. You can't speak to the referee or you can't complain about something if you're not the captain. Again, a law that is being enforced out of, it's not practicality at all. This is not sensible refereeing, but it's being enforced because the league is asking them to enforce it. So you can't blame the referees. It's blame.
No, Jude Bellingham absolutely got sent off because he thought, the referee thought that he cussed at him 100%. I mean, the fuck off that he muttered, basically turning away. was the reason. That there's no other reason. Like you can't send a man off because you crowded the ref. It's if that is what is there in the report, then be ready for Segunda.
Exactly.
Jose Manuera. I'll be honest.
That is silly.
But let's move on. We have spent too much time on the referee. He doesn't deserve the kind of airtime this MF is getting. I'll be very honest. But Mr. Photos is mentioning, I hate this life. Pick up yourself. I mean, winless in the last 3 games. Atleti about to overtake us. Will Barcelona overtake us? I believe, right? Will they?
They played their 23rd game, I think.
No, with their next win, I think they will be either level on points.
They are 2 points behind us with the same number of matches played.
Oh, okay. Did Barcelona play yesterday? No. I don't think so. They're going to play tomorrow, right? I'm not sure. Not sure anymore.
17th.
But
they play February 17th, which is like
midweek.
Yeah.
Right.
Day after.
Okay. Right. But with that win, they can go above us, right?
Yeah, momentarily till we play the next game.
Right. Ashik was mentioning, just make sure that the ref doesn't hear you though. Okay, referring to our audio issues earlier. We don't know what Jude said before we conclude anything. I mean, it's pretty evident, the ref thought he was cussing. Even if he didn't cuss, the ref thought he was cussing at him. This is the rep, man. This is the rep you carry. I don't know if you remember, this was kind of going around on Insta, at least that's where I saw it. Jude basically saying, fuck off, man, to the linesman, in Manchester. It's, shouldn't be doing that, man. Come on.
Like that.
I also believe when Cristiano Ramos cusses in Spanish, it doesn't get much traction. But Jude cussing in English,
oh yes,
it hits different. It hits different. You were going to say something, Sal?
No, I was just mentioning the same thing. Like it's not enough in any day, in any era to
be. I know, but this is 2025.
Yellow. That's dissent. Sure, if he says fuck off, then book him. But straight red.
No, but for fuck you is personal. It gets personal with the you. So that's what the referee
said. That like I think there might be a mentality on his part last season where he was taking advantage.
I don't think Jude said that. I'm not saying Jude said that. The ref thought he said that.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, he might have said it a few times here and there in Spanish, La Liga games last season, where he probably thought he was getting away with it because the refs probably didn't understand. But after this, incident, it's going to completely flip as a mentality where if they don't understand, then there's a chance for them to misinterpret.
Sahil, Jude Bellingham is not. Jude Bellingham is not reading out a Shakespearean play, right? It's fuck off. Everybody understands what fuck off means. I mean, people watch English movies, I mean, they do watch English movies, bro. It's what do you learn in a new language?
He says a lot.
I don't understand. I would just tell these guys, you guys need to calm down. I mean, I get it. You get frustrated. You went. We do it. It's human to vent, but I'm beyond, basically trying to discipline them. It's up to the management. It's up to Carlo, but apparently he's not
setting a very good example for that. And how do you the strict showing expression? And I know these are professionals we're talking about, but they're still footballers. That part of us comes out when we're playing.
You got to be smart, man. Custom, but it shouldn't cost you. That's the thing. I mean, it wasn't in Jude's hands tonight, but I'm just saying in general, Vinicius getting sent off for dissent, right? Examples like it just people just breed off it. I mean, it is contagious,
right?
I have played the sport, not football, but on a semi-professional level, and when someone is basically cussing, you tend to cuss with him as well. You want to join it. It's just what happens. Right. Farouk was mentioning, respective of what Jude said, he gave the ref a decision to make. Yeah, that's the major talking point. But people wouldn't say that because he was also mentioning the club says there is an agenda against them, yet they can't keep their stars in check. I mean, we love these guys, man. Like we should be really backing them, but they're not giving us much to back them. The pen absolutely shambolic. That's not on the players. That's not on the on the management. That's not on the club. It's basically a huge refereeing mistake that's going to probably cost us the league. If things don't pan out exactly the way we want to. I mean, but the Jude incident, yeah, what can we say? Right. Ashik was asking, in response to that, so we can't talk to the ref. Question mark. Meanwhile, Barca and Atleti players hound these refs like rabid dogs. I mean, almost every club does it. Every club does it. But yeah, like when the cussing gets personal, that's when this is not the first time I've seen someone get sent off for dissent. I've seen it happen a few times, and most of the time it's, on this case, the ref thought that it was personal, but most of the times it's the guys, the players making personal. But yeah, Farouk was asking the same question. How many cards have the front four gotten for dissent? I mean, not much Mbappe, but this didn't happen out of the blue. It's a culmination of events. Right. Farouk was mentioning refs are absolute shite and inconsistent, but we have been giving them ammo. Big up Moon, he was mentioning, I'm pretty sure now we are not winning the league. Mbappe finishing was shit, and Vinny, shows off too much. I mean, yeah. Like if you want to talk about the game, I mean, we had a few chances in the first half, especially.
Yes.
That we should have probably capitalized. Like, I'm not saying that was the reason we lost, but for example, the Vinicius chance. I mean, it was a bit behind him. The ball was a bit behind him. Mbappe laid it on for him on a platter, but Vinicius is finishing, especially in La Liga, ever since November, hasn't really been up to his usual standards. Like, Mbappe is still delivering, yeah, right. But even Mbappe, when he's 1v1 with the keeper, probably you bet on him. But if the angle is tight, you would bet on a Cristiano to score. But Mbappe, nah, he isn't really that lethal, is he? Remember the chance that he had against Herrera? I mean, the angle was tight. All it took was a hand for Herrera to basically, palm it away. I mean, our front three, front two wasn't really at it. Sahil, what do you think? Vinicius had a few solo runs, that could have ended up in something, but without the end product, can we really give them enough credit?
Yeah, I think they weren't all that terrible, especially Mbappe in the first half. I thought he really took the game on, and some of the moves he made were really decisive. It's just a matter of finishing those moves off. I think Kama found him in one particular move, and that for me was a really exciting opportunity earlier in the game. Modric as well, and then he laid it off to Vinny on a platter in a situation where I thought he maybe should have shot. I think Ancelotti did as well. But yeah, there's no problem with laying it off there. It's just a matter of does it then end up being finished? Because then you're going to look stupid for laying it off in a position like that. And that particular setup with Vinny and Mbappe earlier in the game, like first 20 minutes, where Vinny was playing like a free role. He was not starting on the left. He was more
he was basically very central.
Yeah, he was very central, and he was rather on the right as well. More or less playing as a second striker, off of Mbappe and really gliding in between the lines of defense. I think it was working really well earlier in the game. I don't know why he shifted back and felt the need to not.
He shifted back because their wing back got subbed. That's why.
Right, but also he should have also tried that a little bit more. Seeing as how it was working quite well earlier in the game, we were creating a few opportunities from both ends. I was just a bit surprised by how ineffective Brahim Diaz was. I know we really appreciated how much quality he brings off the bench and how much value he
Yeah,
adds to the team. But
I don't expect much when
games
he's
like
starting.
this, yeah, when he's starting and ninth against ninth in the league, you expect him to really take the game by the scruff of the neck. You expect him to take the opposition fullback on, but we see Valverde make more runs than him, and Valverde is playing as a proxy right back. So,
Yeah.
like, I know that's not his game entirely, but as a winger, you still got to take defenders on. I'm looking at Brahim when I see the state
Yeah.
of our attack. I know Vinicius and Mbappe were both effective separately. Vinicius more so in the second half, where he sort of went solo but couldn't finish it off. But yeah, it's just a matter of them combining. And when Vinicius was not on the left, I think Mbappe made some really good runs, I feel. But yeah, combining the both of them and their abilities. I think after Bellingham was sent off, it was really limited. Our game in the final third took a hit after that, where we didn't
Yeah.
really have that link, and we were constantly looking for an out ball, but there was none. And Brahim doesn't dribble past player, so you had to go directly from either Kamavinga or Modric to Mbappe's runs, which were, I think, for most of that second half, Osasuna marked Mbappe really well.
There were a few chances, but yeah, they dealt with him so well. Remember that last ditch tackle from the guy who basically got bet and then he sprints back and then nicks the ball of Mbappe. I think it was the centre back. But yeah, I mean, Osasuna dealt with it pretty well, man. But I was kind of happy that, despite being a man down, we were, super impulsive. But what can I say? Some of the half chances should have been dealt with much better than Vinny and Mbappe did. But yeah, once the ref basically gave the pen, I was like, yeah, I was off my off my comfort zone, man. Like I didn't care much about the game anymore because I was that pissed. I really couldn't believe that that actually happened. But let me get into a few of the comments quickly. Moon was mentioning La Liga refereeing is the worst in the world, right? I just lost that for a second. Right, modern day refs and millennial softies, paper thin skin, says Ashik. Direct red for fuck off. He can give him a yellow card. It is an agenda. Yeah, at that point we were speculating. I mean, no, it's not speculation. I don't think it's speculation. I think he did say F off, but right, Ashik was mentioning similar foul was committed in the Bayern Celtic game. The play was done, ball was gone, and mistake led to a stomp. Gil Manzano checked the video and didn't call it a pen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what can we say? But yeah, on the attack, they tried, man. They tried. There were some chances, the Fede assist to Mbappe was brilliant. I mean, there's no denying it. Jude Bellingham basically, winning the 50-50, usual special slide tackle to basically, win a ball, out of nothing. That's what Jude Bellingham does. And rightly, like what Sahil said, when he left, we lost a lot of that combativeness that we have in the final third. Yeah, man. Off day, I'll be very honest. But Vinicius have to really, telling you, the standards, especially after the Ballon d'Or controversy and whatnot. I don't know if it is directly related or something, but the timeline kind of matches up to that. He has lost a bit of his output. Not necessarily in the Champions League, where he has been delivering, but yeah, in the league, when you go 3 games without a win, you have to look at your attackers. And we're not conceding a lot of goals. We're conceding 1 goal here, 1 goal there. That's it. Right? So we have to look at the people who are tasked with the job to basically deliver the goals. This front line, 2020 is worth 60 goals at least a season. It doesn't look like it when we play against extremely well drilled low blocks. I mean, when you see a guy like Budimir run back to stop Vinicius,
Right,
Sahil, you know what you're up against, right? But yeah, a few more comments quickly. Moon was mentioning, yes, we can say that sitting on a sofa when players are playing on the pitch doing hard yards and referee not giving them a foul again and again. Players get frustrated. It is normal. I'm with Jude. I do agree. It is normal. But I'm just telling you, Moon, like I was always of the opinion that, bro, people have to show emotion. People have to show passion. People have to be, asking for what's right. But there should be a smart way to deal with it. I mean, who doesn't vent? Who doesn't shout at the ref? Everybody does, man. But there should be a better. I don't know how to put it. You should be smart enough to know, Moon, what I mean by that.
True.
Mr. Photos is mentioning, well, Atleti just got someone sent off. Well,
First 7 minutes, they are sending off Barrios, I believe.
Barrios, huh? Okay. Is the score 0-0 when you checked? Was the score 0-0 when you checked?
It was 0-0 15 minutes in, but...
Right. Mr. Photos was also mentioning...
Oh, it's still 0-0 at that time.
Right. Mr. Photos is also mentioning, so this is gonna sound weird from me. F-off is nowhere near a red offense, especially if it isn't directed at anyone. Can't believe you all made me side with that joker. I don't understand. If he said F-off, I'm telling you, it's fine. It's fine. Even if he said F you, I am fine with it, because people have said worse things to ref, man. We had players who were far, far more volatile than Jude Bellingham. When you look at Ramos, when you look at Pepe, Xabi Alonso, Mourinho, these guys look tame, man. These guys are if those guys were, lions, cheetahs, panthers, the guys we have are house cats. That is the absolute reality. I mean, yeah.
I think it just takes me back to something you said earlier in the episode, Sunil, where like you've got to draw the line somewhere. And are the referees here to regulate the game, or are they here to control it? This is not cricket, man. This is not a gentleman's sport. This is rough. This is dirty. Say what you want about it. There's always going to be a certain amount of emotion involved. So when things don't go certain teams' way, they're always going to be frustrated about it, and rightly so in this situation. So I just don't get how you can be so intolerant, either as a referee or as an organization to RFEL.
She was mentioning the club is also guilty of mismanaging and raising the concerns with the ref. Yeah, so many people on various platforms, going off about, like this is caused by Madrid themselves. They sent in a letter. They basically asked for trouble. I mean, someone had to do it. Someone had to raise the concern. Someone had to basically,
it's about timing. Doing it in the middle of the season is not going to change anything. Let's be realistic, right? Making montages, making compilations of where we've been fucked over by the ref in big games, games, whatever. It's not going to change a thing. It's only going to bring more, media attention. It's going to draw more of the refereeing association's attention towards our club. So as an institution, I don't really like the image we are putting out, or we are portraying ourselves on when we put out those, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Circulars or the videos that we put out on social media. It's not really helping anyone. It's not really helping the players. Is it changing the narrative? You could say it is, but only among the fans.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to suddenly make the officials see the light. Not until the end of the season, at least, because they can't change anything. Sure, when the season's over, then make an official complaint, make a montage, all you want. Because then people are gonna, the attention's actually going to end up to something fruitful. But for now, I just think it's negative PR towards our players on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's not helping them.
It's also in part to do with how Spanish. I mean, if you have seen some of the stuff that Chiringuito does, it is more like a opera, soap opera. I'll be very honest. They just like a bit of drama. Drama with tapas to spend their evenings. I don't understand. It just is beyond me. I've always been of the opinion that we have to be a bit more. We have to act like a big club. Act like the biggest club in the world. But then again, when you see incident after incident after incident, like you always say, Sahil, where do you draw the line? You have to sometimes call stuff out. But I get, what you're saying. Doing it in the middle of the season is gonna basically, aggravate the issue, right? But yeah, see, the referee report apparently it states Bellingham, things that he said, F you. So yeah, like what I said earlier. See, Ancelotti is also, on the same thing. He's saying several things have happened in the last 3 games, and everyone has seen it. Referring to the Atleti, the Espanyol. Yeah. That if there is an agenda, it is a pretty strong agenda to not really let us win and basically make sure that decisions go against us, because the amount of times where was it at home? I don't remember the opponent, but a couple of weeks back, I remember like offside decisions and whatnot. Referees are being called in to check the monitor. I mean, which league does that? See, if someone is offside or not, and if someone is basically interfering with the play or not, is up to the guy on the pitch, man. It can't be slowed down frame by frame, judge a player's emotion and kind of try to gauge, oh yeah, like what was his brain intending to do. It's absolutely stupid. I appreciated the physicality of La Liga. I really appreciated the nasty battles we used to have. I used to dread going to Mestalla, when I used to grow up. Now it's basically, I know I headed to Mestalla. The crowd is going to be up for it, right? The players are going to be up for the, up for the occasion, and they're going to basically just sharpen their swords and whatnot. But how the game is being refed and how the rules are being imposed, all those knives, they have plastic blades instead of the the usual razors we used to be dealing with back in the day. So jeopardy isn't quite the same. It's shite, man. I have no words.
Yeah. Plus, when we talk about inconsistencies in it, the 2 instances that happened today, just want to mention this. These are both things. We've talked about what's in the book. We've talked about what's practical. We've talked about what the referees should be doing, right?
Yeah.
Do you allow emotion, or do you not, let that go, or do you just follow the book? I think these are still laws that are still very much in the gray area even when it comes to the book. The same way the handball rule was a few years ago, when nobody knew what nobody could define. Even the referees didn't know what to call a natural position or what to call a movement towards the ball. The judgment of that during that phase 3 or 4 seasons ago was very very in between. So nobody could come on a middle ground in that. But these days it's not being talked about as much, because again the rule has been defined very clear out, and things like that happen, and it's only going to go one way. So there's some sort of consistency that they've managed to hit with that rule and several others. So I'm just hoping that RFAF or the governing bodies come to such conclusions about other rules as well.
So basically make it so clear and basically make it crystal clear to the point where there is absolutely no debate after a game.
Well, there's always going to be a debate, because even now it's sort of crystal clear. It's not practical. So make it practical is what I'm saying.
Right.
Bring it back to a middle, sweet spot.
Well, let's hope. Yeah. I'll also caveat this with mentioning the fact that we don't know what the future holds for this league or for us, right? We already want out of the Champions League. At this rate, Sahil, how long are we going to really compete in La Liga? I have no idea, man. It's really getting to that boiling point.
True as well.
I'll be very honest.
Yeah. I think we come to this crossroads every season, right? Where we're going through in the Champions League, and suddenly we're really doing well. We're one of the favorites to win Champions League because we have 1 or 2 really good games in that. And then our fans especially suddenly forgot about the domestic competitions. And this is a season where, keep in mind, we haven't won Supercopa. Usually we come into February, March having, 1 trophy already in the bag. And most of the time we're already out of the Copa del Rey. But this season is different, and we're still.
I wasn't talking about the competitive
right
side of things. I was
Okay.
just mentioning, are we going to abandon La Liga in the sense that we want a Super League, right?
That.
So are we
It's
going to
still
create a new
very
league?
far-fetched. It's still a very far-fetched conversation. Far-fetched.
But I'm just saying, people are at war, man. Here.
No, like I said, very far-fetched. It didn't even come to my mind when you said that. I don't think.
I know.
Yeah, but again, even
La Liga has never been without Madrid.
Yeah, the last time out when it happened, 2020, I think, or 21, it was very out of the blue. Like we weren't expecting it, and they came up with the decision to go ahead with it. So I wouldn't be surprised, but also we're far away from having that conversation.
But yeah, you were mentioning the stakes that we have to end the season, right? Yeah, like at no point did we ever think that we would be headed into a semi-final, and potentially a final against Barca or Atleti. It's, I mean, as things stand, we aren't really that bad, right? I mean, we have to give credit to Carlo for managing the side despite the injuries, despite the the infirmary getting overloaded. Like we have kind of managed to scrape through results, but you see at this rate, La Liga is going to turn into a really really hectic fight to end the season. Yeah,
it's actually 4th place this season. Bilbao are in it too, well, somewhat.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, mathematically they have an outside shout, right? But yeah, it's gonna be between us three.
Putting pressure on Atleti and Barca, especially if they've got remaining games against those two.
Man, now we have to basically again. It's the hoping game. It's the praying game. I hate it. So I would like our destiny to be in our hands, but every week is basically
a roller coaster of emotions. We win in the Champions League, and then the La Liga game comes about.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, like City won 4-0 against Newcastle. 4-0. Omar Marmoush scored a hat trick.
Right.
So they are pumped up for Wednesday. I'm feeling the nerves already. I mean, I was like keeping a side eye on City. Newcastle has done pretty well. They were at home, provided City were at home, but City has gotten spanked by Tottenham 4-0 at home. So Newcastle coming to home, I was expecting, like they might nick a win, but it would be a close affair. Might be a draw even, because City has been out of sorts. But Guardiola kind of switched it up. Started Marmoush, started Nico Gonzalez. I think he's back. So they are looking good, man. They would have looked at our scoreline and thought, like these guys, they're there. If we are actually on it, Wednesday might be, the day that we stun the world by, doing the unthinkable at the Bernabeu. But yeah, man, this isn't a game that we should be throwing away. We have done so well against Osasuna over the years. Osasuna, even away, I mean, they put up a good fight. The crowd is up for it, but we still managed to, get the results. But yeah, like after the pen, at no point, especially after the red card, I didn't really think that we had enough tools in our, in our disposal to actually do something. Rodrigo came on, he tried to make a few things happen, but also Carlo, man. Why no goaler? Why? I don't understand. What has he done? Why no subs? He was apparently mentioning Kamavinga and Modric played so well that he didn't want to take them off.
Yeah, but they're worn out. You have to take them off at some point.
Kamavinga is going to start, against City. Give him a break. Get Goaler on. I don't understand. I'll never understand.
Yep.
I'll never understand.
Same also.
But yeah, quick. Yeah, 100%. Let me go through a few of the comments quickly. Right. Mr. Fortress, they'll overtake head-to-head. Oh, yeah. Head-to-head is an action. Right. So, yeah, if Barca's on level, Barca is level on points, they're going to, go above us. Right. Ashik was mentioning, unlike Barca, Madrid have been known to help small clubs at times. Real was also the only team on Barca's side during the Olmo ordeal. The club should stop that. Right then. Ashi was mentioning Madrid should leave La Liga, play in the Premier League, more money for Premier League, more competition for Madrid, and we can shut the Brits up as well. Right. Yeah, she was reminding us, Newcastle is in Madrid, and Etihad isn't the Bernabeu. Right then. Anything else that we need to, really touch upon? I thought the defending, Chouameni again. If you remember the Budimir half chance before they actually got the pen, he had a brilliant opportunity to clear the ball. But it's almost always, it's Asensio basically bailing him out, right? Like, how good is Asensio? I mean, Asensio is basically making Chouameni look half decent.
I was going to mention that. And it wasn't as if Chouameni had, an outrageously good game at Man City, but he was being lauded for it because, again, Raul Asensio put up a monster of a performance. We're going to see Chouameni make errors. We're always going to see lapses of judgment. His positioning is not that of a defender's, and he always has this stagnant, thing in him where he stays in one position in the pitch and he doesn't really move around as much as any defensive player should when you're either marking a tracker or blocking a zone. Raul Asensio is always going to be more decisive, more he's going to move around more, and he has that dog in him. We mentioned it after the City game. He dives in tackle because he knows he's going to time it to perfection, and he has that sense of judgment nailed down. So in this age where anything and everything is being given as a pen, the bravery this boy's got to dive into tackles is commendable. And like you said, he makes Chouameni look half good as a centre back. But
100%.
Rudiger will be back for Wednesday, right?
I hope it's Rudiger and Asensio then.
It's being said.
But you bet here it's going to be Rudiger and Chouameni. My goodness.
It better not be.
If that's the case, I mean, Marmoush is going to start. Marmoush has some pace to him, man. Like he's gonna rinse Chouameni.
If that happens, I'm gonna catch the first flight to Madrid and I'm gonna strangle Ancelotti.
I hope you don't. But that's some major threat, Sahil. I request you to take that back. And I'm joking. But we should kind of public apology, comunicado oficial. We should probably post something on our socials. But we have to just hope and pray that some of the decision making, especially regarding the starting lineup, is sensible. That's the least we ask. Sensible. We know what to expect from Carlos, so we wouldn't be too surprised. Talking about the midfield, Camavinga again. I mean, he's great in possession. He just has that sense of space. He can wriggle out of situations that normally other midfielders of his ilk really can't. He can pick out some neat long balls. He's really energetic. His vertical runs, we always praise him for that. But the one thing again, defending in and around the box is an absolute shambles. Especially when it comes to Camavinga. On the other hand, Modric, despite being a much more attacking-minded, more of a creative player, he seems to always, throughout his career, has had a better tackle on him, has had a better, defensive IQ that we always mention. Camavinga is a walking yellow card. It has always been, but since his responsibilities has gotten a bit more deeper in this role, Sahil, I really worry about him in the big games.
Yeah, and it's natural too because he has the tendency to lunge into tackles more often than not when it's unnecessary. It's true that his reading of space is immaculate when he's in possession. It's true that he, offers some sort of balance to any midfield formation that we put up, regardless of when you play him. But that's the thing, without the ball, he's great, and he's probably one of the best slide tacklers in the team. at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a sense of when to go in and when to not, which I think someone like Raul Asensio has, like I said, perfectly nailed
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt his ability, but I doubt his judgment, Kamavinga.
Mm.
And does he really need to be in the box for that cross, or does I mean I know he's only covering up for Tchouaméni, but then that
Mm.
blames Tchouaméni, his position,
Mm.
because even
Mm.
when Ceballos gave away the penalty, like he has no business being making a tackle in the box. The only reason he's being asked to is because someone who's supposed to be there is not.
Yeah. Mm. But without, I'm telling you, this formation and everything that Carlo is being dealing with it's a fundamentally flawed system. It's a fundamentally flawed team setup, because if we had recognized out and out CDM, he would be the ones putting out these kind of fires. Casemiro used to do that at his prime, and we need someone of that ilk very, very bad. No matter if we play a double pivot, no matter if we play a classic 4-4-3 with a traditional midfield three, we need someone who is that guy who you can basically trust him with the job. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna bomb forward, you guys, you can basically cover what the space that I left behind. I mean, when Fede is basically at right back, there's only so much he can do. But yet Fede, still again tonight, I think he had a solid 7-8. Brilliant again. But
True.
Valid point, man, that you make. All these backup for Tchouaméni and the centre backs, it's frustrating to watch. I'll be very honest. I mean, Thibaut had a couple of brilliant saves. If you remember the shot in the first half from Aymar. Basically, I'm pretty sure Thibaut couldn't see it coming up until the last second. Reaction save to tip the ball over. Thibaut basically does his job, man. It's the people in front of him aren't really that equipped enough to basically, make his life a bit more easier.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Ashik was mentioning Raul Asensio. Show some love. This kid is a fucking baller. Madrid TV was mentioning this referee should never referee a game again. Disgraceful. I mean, yeah, we talked about it to death. I fear for his life. I hope he hires some private security, or at least La Liga. You back these guys. Might as well provide some private security for the next 6 months. Up until the league is decided. It's safer that way.
Because you were tweeting about this before the derby.
What was that?
Atleti on Twitter, they were tweeting about this before the derby. Like, start with the referee and whatnot. Adding more fair share to the continuing.
100%. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything new. Oh yeah, like people are still talking about the push on Fran Garcia. Yeah, they're also mentioning 8 minutes and 3 seconds were wasted in the second half. The referee only added 4 minutes and played 1 extra minute. This is because they don't do their job well enough so that people don't delve into all these things. I mean, there has been at least a billion games throughout history where, ball has barely been in play for the designated 45 minutes of a half. This ain't the first time. But when, you have a night like this, when you have a mare like this, people are going to really go into the intricacies a lot more. Because they are being grieved, right? They're being basically robbed of a win. People would think they're being robbed of a win. Sahil came with the technicality. I mean, he came in with the reasoning that La Liga basically has changed the decision to give follow throughs as a pen as a foul consistently in the box. I didn't know that. I'll be very honest. I didn't quite know that, and I'll be super sure that so many people are almost like me as well. Like, how many guys are going to be that updated with what's happening regarding what is going on in officiating, especially when they watch a competition like the Champions League, and it ain't as clowny as what goes on in La Liga. It's ridiculous, man. Honest to God. But yeah, hopefully Atleti drops a few points, Barca drop a few points, and we can get back to where we belong. People would argue that we don't deserve to be in the first spot. I want my team to win the league. That's all that matters. I don't want the deserving award. I don't want the fair play award. I just want us to win the league, period. Carlo, his management, for the way they have survived this crisis, it is a big crisis in terms of numbers, in terms of positions, critical positions, that they have been missing for large parts of the season. They deserve at least a major honor. But yeah, final thoughts, Sahil.
Yeah, El Sadar away was always going to be a tough game. We know the crowd can be, tough, and that was always going to be a factor. But it turns out that there was a bigger factor, and that ended up being the main talking point of the match. I'm pretty sure we've spoken about the referees and the officiating and the rules for like 40-45 minutes of this post-match. We did shed some light on the players. It was undoubtedly one of our worst performances in the past month, especially that second half after Bellingham went off. So many talking points, very eventful game, but ultimately not a fruitful one for us, and one that will see us depend on other teams to salvage our position in the league. So fingers crossed with Celta still playing Atleti. I think that's still at 0-0. Hopefully Barca drop points against Rayo.
Celta apparently took the lead. Ashi was mentioning.
That's good.
I hope they keep the lead. It's never going to happen. It's at the Metropolitano. So I don't think Celta will survive. Atleti has had a knack for scoring late winners this season, especially.
So keep your eyes peeled for the preview, Man City.
For the City game.
Yeah, let's watch Atleti and Barca play till then.
Yeah, Monday. Hopefully, I'm not sure about the time, people, but yeah, Monday probably will be our City preview. But yeah, big week. Hopefully, for our next weekend fixture, we have a much happier outcome. Especially if we go through against City, which I'm hoping we do. It's a big one. But yeah, big up our sponsors as always. Go check them out. Links are in the description below. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Go show some love to Fanatics, the biggest sports apparel collection online, official partners of La Liga and Madrid. Also, go show some love to Talksport as well. Everything on LBR is officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. But until next time, people, Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid, guys.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features two interchangeable blade heads, one called the blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for a full precision. The thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother or dad. It's a great gift for any man. And this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.